Well, it's the 11th of March already, and what we're doing today is something that we normally do very much earlier in season, and that is peppers. Normally I would start those at the end of January, February, but this year I've decided to wait a little bit longer and see how these plants get on. We know that peppers need quite a long growing season to see any produce off them whatsoever, so we need to get these plants started as soon as possible to ensure that we're harvesting amazing fruits like these later in year. We know that these plants are not cold hardy whatsoever, so you can't really start them outside, not even in a greenhouse. It's going to be too cold. So if you're starting them now, even approaching mid-March, you still need to do those plants inside, or you'll get very poor germination, if any germination at all. And what I'm doing this year is I'm not buying any pepper seeds. I'm going to grow them from saved seeds from last year, and we had a couple of different varieties. One was the yellow mohawk sweet bell pepper, and then we had some regular sweet red peppers, and we saved all the seeds. So hopefully these will germinate, we'll get some plants on go, and they've not really cost us anything except a bit of time. And we've also got some more saved seeds from a recent pepper, just like the one I just showed you. And we're going to take some of these seeds off and we're going to plant some of those as well and see how we get on. There is quite a lot of seeds on these, as you've probably seen before. So we're going to take these seeds off and we're going to plant some of these and some of last year's, and we're going to do them separately. And we're going to do them separately for a reason. Sometimes pepper seeds can take quite a while to actually germinate, which is why we like to start them as early as possible. But there is something you can do that will speed that process along, and it's soak them in a weak tea solution overnight. We've got some pepper seeds already in there, if you can see those. We've had those soaking for a while, and what that does is it softens that exterior shell, and it will help those seeds germinate that much quicker. And I did do an experiment on this a couple of years ago, and I had some seeds that I soaked overnight, and next to them I planted seeds that had not been soaked at all. Now the soaked seeds took about a week to germinate indoors, and the unsoaked seeds took about 3 weeks. So it does make a difference. So that's what we're going to do as well today. That same experiment, seeds soaked in a weak tea solution, and then some seeds that weren't. We'll see how that goes. But first we'll get these seeds off of this pepper. So it is just a case of taking this with all those amazing seeds on and just trying to rub them off. And look how many seeds that we're getting already. And we have been drying these out for a few days. So basically you keep this part of pepper and then put it somewhere where there's a little bit of sunshine, and they'll dry out that much quicker. And for the amount of seeds that you're going to get from doing this, it's definitely worth doing. And some people say that if you try and grow peppers from saved seeds, from shop bought fruit, they won't germinate. But I have done it quite a few times in the past, and they always have. So really good result from doing this. Lots and lots of seeds. And that's just about all of them. So we're definitely pleased with that. That is a lot of pepper seeds. And these are the ones that we'll be sowing without soaking them in that weak tea solution. So having done that, we need a tray, and we are going to use these ones that we got from Home Bargains. 8 trays for £1.29 bargain, but they don't have holes in. So what we're going to do is melt a few holes in the bottom, get some sieved compost in, because it's really important that it's sieved when you're doing these plants. They are tiny little seedlings, so we don't want anything that's going to get in the way of letting these little seedlings push through. That's why we sieve it, to get rid of big pieces of wood and things like that. So we'll get a screwdriver, we'll melt some holes in the bottom, and we'll get those pepper seeds finally sown. While that screwdriver's warming up, I'll show you something else. This is that container that we saved after eating all those grapes, and we sowed cress in it. These containers are great. They've got lots and lots of holes in bottom. So all you need to actually do is add the compost, your seeds, and away you go. And that is the germination rate that we've got so far. I think looking at it, I should probably have put more seeds in, so that when you look down, all you've just got is a mass of green. I think we sowed them a little too thinly, to be honest, but we have still got something to go at. And you can get cress seeds online from places like Yorkshire Seeds, which are really good, or Premier Seeds, and you tend to get around 4,000 seeds for only £2, so that's a really good deal. So considering how many seeds we get, we'll definitely plant extra next time. But for a recycled container, very cheap seeds, we've got something. Let's get these holes made. If you don't want to use a screwdriver, use a soldering iron if you've got one. So there we go, quick and easy, and we've got plenty of holes in the bottom of there now. So now we just need to put in the sieved compost. So as you can see, nice fine compost. It's exactly what we're looking for. So we'll get some popped in this tray. I'm not going to fill it right to the top. In fact, that's probably a little too much. Just taking a little bit back out, settling it down, and then make that level bed that I always do. And that's his tray set up, ready for his seeds. Before I put those seeds on, I'm just going to wet this compost. Plenty of moisture in there now. I've just drained that tea, and these are the seeds that we're putting on. In no particular order. We're just leaving a bit of a gap between each one. And this is a mixture of those mohawk and the red peppers. And that's all those seeds on there. They're not perfectly spaced out, but they're good enough. And then we're going to take those fresh seeds that we just picked off from the big red bell peppers, the unsoaked ones. I'm just trying to leave a bit of a line in the centre there. I don't want these seeds crossing over into each other's parts. I think that'll do. There's quite a lot on that side, and probably round about the same on that. And I've just added a label to that tray so that we know that the ones on this side are the ones that we soaked in tea, and the ones on this side wasn't. And now I'm very lightly going to cover these seeds with compost. Don't bury your pepper seeds too deep. Just put enough on to cover those seeds up. Like that. We'll even it out a little bit as well. The sooner these seeds germinate and come through, the better. So another quick watering. Make sure we get plenty of moisture on there this time. And then where I left that pen, I can just make a divide. And that's 100%. We know which side is which. The very last thing I'm going to do to these is add some cling film to the top. Just pop it over like that. I'm just going to level that out a little bit. That's basically going to retain moisture while these seeds are germinating. Nothing fancy, very cheap, but also very effective. And we'll put them somewhere nice and warm. As I mentioned, you need to keep these seeds warm or they'll really struggle to germinate. Ideally, you need to keep them at 70 to 75 degrees all the way through that germination process. But because we're in a caravan, we don't tend to eat all the rooms up. Mainly the one that we watch TV in at night. So if we put them in one of the spare rooms, on a shelf for example, it's going to be quite cold. So it's not ideal. And if you've got that same sort of problem and you'd like to rush this germination process along, there is something else that you can use. And that's one of these, a cheap heat mat. You can get these off eBay for around £10 or so. And they are quite a good size. So you can get a couple of them size trays on this mat. One thing I will say when you're using these type of heat mats is sometimes it's a good idea to put a thin layer of cardboard over the top of this heat mat, because that will equally distribute the heat from this mat all the way along. Sometimes you can get hot spots, which we don't want. But for £10, this is definitely going to help your pepper seeds or anything else germinate that little bit quicker. Failing that, put the tray in an airing cupboard that stays warm pretty much all day and night. And of course at this time of year the light levels are not great yet. So once them seeds do germinate, they're going to need light, otherwise they're going to stretch and go leggy. That's going to make weak plants in the long run. But I've also found a cheap solution for that, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So there you go, growing your own peppers from saved seeds, from store-bought, or the plants you grew last year. The cheapest way that you can grow your pepper plants this year. We'll see how these ones get on, and we'll obviously keep updating you as we see those little seedlings appear. So if you do want to grow some peppers this year, it's not too late, but we are getting very close to that. So if you've not done any already, get them done as soon as possible. Anyway, thank you so much for being on board. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to see how these seeds progress and what else we're going to be planting as we approach mid-March, then please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you very soon. Take care.